Spirit of Christmas shape our hearts and our leadership. May it inspire us to lead with humility, compassion, and wisdom. As we carry out the responsibilities entrusted to us, may we seek understanding over division, service over self-interest, and hope over discouragement. We ask for guidance as we make decisions that affect the lives of our residents, that our actions may promote unity, safety, and prosperity for all. May this season remind us that even small acts of kindness can bring light to others and strengthen our shared future. As we look ahead to the coming year, let us be guided by a clear vision and a shared sense of purpose. May we learn from the past, embrace new opportunities with courage, and work together to build a future marked by thoughtful growth, innovation, and care for every resident. Let our decisions be shaped not by our immediate needs, but by our long-term commitment to a stronger Sugar Land. With gratitude for the blessings of this season and the opportunity to serve, we move together forward. In your name we pray, amen.
Well, now we're ready for the Pledges of Allegiance, so please remain standing. So we have the Cub Scout Troop 616, the 4th grade Webelos. So come on up. We have Elise Holacek, Owen Palacios, Luke Lynn, Noah Lynn, Darsh Agarwal, and Theo Popany. And then the den leader is Matt Holacek. And this fall, they focused on scouting principles in meetings and campouts in Galveston State Park and Lake Houston Wilderness Park. So y'all been busy. Okay, so we'll start with the U.S. places.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, one indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Great job. Okay, let's turn around. Hey, let's turn around. Hey, y'all, let her get a quick picture of y'all before you go. Come on up here. So she can get a picture of y'all. Okay. She's going to come out here and come over here. Okay. Can y'all shift over this way? I'm sorry. Shift over this way a little bit. Here, stay there. Okay. Okay, thank you all for coming out. We appreciate you. So next on the agenda is recognition of Silver Heart Care. So I'd like to call it Raghav Singh, Meenakshi Singh, Meenakshi Sanjay. Yeah, come on up. Devika Singh, Sanjay Singh, and Verinder Patel. And Raghav is the president and founder of Silver Heart Care. And Raghav, I just admire him so much. When he was at Clements, when COVID struck, he realized that there was a need to do service for our senior citizens, and he founded this amazing organization. So, Raghav, I'm so proud of you, but I'd like for you to tell the story about Silver Heart Care.
Ma'am. Madam Mayor, City Council members, and everyone here tonight, thank you. I'm truly honored to accept this recognition on behalf of Silver Heart Care as we celebrate 5 years of serving seniors in our community. I want to begin by thanking the City of Sugar Land for valuing the lives of senior citizens and for recognizing the work it takes day in and day out to help our seniors live with dignity, independence, and connection. 5 years ago, our team launched Silver Heart Care right here in Sugar Land with a very simple goal: support the senior citizens who are near and dear to us. And what started off as a small effort to support a few neighbors quickly became a bigger mission, making sure that seniors in our city and in our community felt supported and never alone. Through programs like our Wheels of Wellness, where we provide non-emergent medical transportation, but most importantly, through real relationships, we learned that service isn't just about meeting the community's needs, but it's about strengthening the fabric of a community. And tonight I want to focus on where we're going next. Over the next 5 years, our vision is to grow Silver Heart Care into a stronger, more reliable support system for seniors and their families, so that when someone needs a ride to an appointment, some help around the house, or simply someone to check in, the answer will be consistent and immediate. We want to expand our reach, increase the number of seniors we serve, and build a volunteer pipeline that makes it easy for students, neighbors, and businesses to step in and help. But we can't do this alone. If Silver Heart Care is going to scale, it's going to happen because this community continues to show up. We need volunteers that are willing to give a couple of hours. We need partners who can open doors and spread the word. We need supporters who believe that caring for seniors isn't just charity, but it's a responsibility that we all share. And lastly, we need continuing ongoing monetary donations because rides cost money and consistent giving is what keeps our senior services running. And to the seniors that we've been so blessed to serve, thank you. Your trust, your stories, and your resilience are the reason this mission exists and the reason it will keep growing. Thank you again, Madam Mayor. Thank you again, City Council, and thank you, Sugar Land. We're excited for the next 5 years, and we're excited for y'all to be a part of it.
Thank you. Come on down. So I'd like to present Silver Heart Care with a proclamation. So whereas the City of Sugar Land is proud to recognize and celebrate the 5th anniversary of Silver Heart Care, a local nonprofit dedicated to enhancing the care, support, and overall well-being of seniors in our community. And whereas over the past 5 years, Silver Heart Care has worked diligently to reduce social isolation, improve access to essential services, and strengthen intergenerational connections by providing transportation assistance, engaging volunteers, and offering personalized support to older adults. And whereas the organization's compassion, commitment, and service have made a meaningful and lasting impact on seniors throughout Sugar Land, enhancing their lives and helping them maintain dignity, independence, and a sense of belonging. And whereas Silver Heart Care's leaders, volunteers, and community partners exemplify the spirit of service that strengthens our city, and their efforts highlight the importance of supporting the needs of seniors and encouraging continued community involvement. And whereas the City of Sugar Land commends Silver Heart Care for its dedication to uplifting seniors and celebrates its achievements on this milestone 5-year anniversary. Thank you very much. Council, would you like to come down for a photo? There you go. Thank you. Next recognition is Sugar Land 101, class of 2025. So Jake Holub, Communications and Community Engagement Specialist.
Thank you, Mayor. I get the honor to call up some special individuals who participated with us for our Sugar Land 101 program. Just to give you some background, we're honored to recognize the graduates for the 2025 Sugar Land 101 program, a group of residents who chose to invest their time in learning more about their local government and the dedicated professionals who serve their community. The mission of Sugar Land 101 is to give residents a hands-on, behind-the-scenes look at how their city is run while deepening their understanding of the structure, function, and purpose of Sugar Land's government. The program equips and inspires participants to become informed advocates and future leaders within the community. Over the course of 4 consecutive Saturdays, 18 participants took part in an interactive sessions that were designed to expand their knowledge of day-to-day operations and long-term strategic priorities. More than 15 city departments contributed to the program, and participants met staff, toured facilities, and engaged directly with the teams responsible for delivering essential services across the city. These sessions demonstrated how each division plays a critical role in maintaining Sugar Land's infrastructure, enhancing quality of life, ensuring public safety, planning for the future growth, and providing exceptional service for our residents. City of Sugar Land extends its sincere appreciation to the class for their commitment, curiosity, and desire to better understand and support the work of the municipal government. The participants strengthen civic engagement and foster deeper connections between the community and those who serve in. So I'm going to pass it on to the mayor to introduce these individuals.
Okay, great. So when I say your name, please come forward. So first we have Simran Bawa. Next on the list, we have Ken Wan Chung. Next, we have Paul Davis. Megan Gornett. Toby Grabs. Next, Carol Hill. Brianne Holdenfield. Kyle Perez. Joseph Wilson. And Wang Yui Chung. Oh, yeah, Lakshmi Kapulu. Yeah, there you came. There you are. Yes. Thank you. Anybody else come in from Sugarland 101? I don't see anybody. Okay, great. Well, congratulations on your graduation, and we look forward to you being further engaged with the city, signing up to be on our boards and commissions and things like that. And so now we'd like to take a picture. Council, you want to come down? And you never know where Sugarland 101 will take you. So I'm a Sugarland 101 graduate. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you all again. Okay, agenda item 6, public comment. Linda, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Okay, so public comment is now closed. Item 7, consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be considered by routine by council and be enacted by one motion unless a council member wants to pull an item. Do I have a motion? Okay, motion by Miller, and I'll do second by Watling. Let's vote at this time. I can't see it. Did it pass? I can't see it. Are we waiting on someone? Did you?
I voted. Click save.
Did you click save? Okay, great. Yes, the motion passes 7-0. Item 8A, public hearings. Receive and hear all persons interested in an ordinance amending Chapter 7 building regulations of the Sugarland Development Code by adopting the 2024 International Codes and the 2023 National Electrical Code with local amendments, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith. First, consideration of an action on City of Sugarland Ordinance Number 2395, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugarland, Texas, amending Chapter 7 building regulations of the Sugarland Development Code by adopting the 2024 International Codes and the 2023 National Electrical Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith. So we have Nicole Guevara, Assistant Director of Neighborhood Services, Josh Dole, Chief Building Official, James Serrano, Assistant Fire Chief, and Mike Kugler, Assistant Fire Marshal.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Tonight we're here to discuss code adoption. The international codes serve as a foundation for the city's building safety standards. They are the #1 adopted code worldwide. Currently, the city operates on the 2021 ICC and the 2020 National Electrical Code. By adopting the 2024 ICC and the 2023 codes, we are ensuring we can continue to protect health, safety, and welfare of our community. Considerations for why we wanted to bring this code adoption forward were state and federal legislation, any necessary legal clarifications, our insurance service office rating, which is important. This is a driving factor for homeowners when you get your premiums on your businesses or homes. And also very important to understand is new industry practices, right? The codes are putting in new practices, new techniques, new methods into the codes. Out of all the codes, the ICC has 10 codes that we're bringing forward, and then the 11th being the National Electrical Code. Now I'll go over the process of what we did to include the public. We wanted to make sure that we got as much feedback. We let this process as open and transparent as possible. We started by creating a project webpage. This had links to every proposed code and any proposed amendments that we were going to bring forward. We used technology mainly through our permitting software. What that looked like was every time somebody applied for a permit, scheduled an inspection, or got a result on an inspection, they were sent a link to that project webpage where they could give feedback and any questions that they may have for us. Out of all the feedback we got, honestly, there was no negative feedback. There was mainly one driving question, which was when was the code going to be adopted? We also did contractor focus groups. What that looked like was we would, this was kind of new over the last couple of years, but we'd reach out to contractors that pulled permits in our city, whether it was a mechanical contractor, a solar company, a generator, and we'd go meet with them on their terms, go over our processes, but one of the things was code adoption. You tell us what you think the code should look like. Are you okay with it? Are you not? But we really wanted to involve the community. We didn't just want to do it behind closed doors and to bring a code forward. Staff reviewed all the feedback. Again, we didn't have any negative feedback. And again, this allowed for a really broad outreach to the public, allowing for transparent and participation from the community. Now, this session, we had over 1,000 changes. The code changes every 3 years. It's up to the city to adopt, but in this session, there was over 1,000 changes. So I'm not gonna go over all the changes. We don't have 5 days to stand here and go through all these. What I'd like to do is give you just a couple of examples of what code changes look like. One of the first changes is to the International Plumbing Code, and it is a change requiring a tracer wire to now be installed on private sewer lines. This kind of mirrors what happens with the gas lines where you have a tracer wire, so if you're going to dig up, do any repairs, or you're doing other work around there, you're able to locate these lines to be able to make sure you don't damage the systems underground. Another change was to a testing method, which builders will like this because in the past, if you were doing, especially on residential neighborhoods like what's happening in Rye Hill, or any new developers, if they don't have access to water, to do your DWV systems, you have to fill it up with water. Well, on plastic piping, you couldn't do a pressure test. Well, now they've put in there a vacuum test method that gives builders an extra option to be able to test their systems. Another example of a change was in the mechanical code was now requiring that landing on a roof hatch. Again, changes that you would have always thought were in there, but they weren't. Some of them were vague, so it was up to the city to interpret, but changes like these really help to guide contractors when doing these jobs. Those are, again, just a few brief examples of some of the changes this last code session. Now, I will go over the only one amendment we have proposed, but I will start by saying we are going to carry over the already existing amendments we have, and we're going to bring those over, so we're only bringing forth one new amendment. Now, this amendment was important to us mainly because, I don't know if you're familiar, but over the last few years, we've had a chain of wire thefts. In fact, we've had businesses, we've had doctor's office, we've had restaurants that were hit multiple times right after the wire was stolen for the copper. In fact, the worst of those being right across from City Hall for Lexington, we had a lease space that was hit. The next day, a gentleman actually almost killed himself when he was digging around to figure out why they dropped a leg of power. And actually blew up the entire service, arc flashed, and it took out that entire lease space. They had to operate on a generator for over a month and it cost them about $250,000 to bring them back online. That's what got us looking at, is there something we can do? Because this isn't normal for the police to be able to monitor wire thefts. They were doing this at 4 or 5 in the morning. They look like contractors. So what we looked at was, and this is what the amendment is to require rigid metal conduit, but only on the service riser. So if you look at the photo, that's actually what took place. What they're doing is they're hitting the PVC pipe with a hammer. Within a matter of minutes, without disconnecting power, they will cut that live, tie a rope on a slip knot, and jerk it right out of the ground. They're gone in 10 minutes. By requiring that service rider, just a pipe coming out of the ground, to be rigid metal conduit, you could hit that 200 times with a sledgehammer, you could ram it with your car, you're not breaking that pipe. In fact, on a few of these instances that got hit by the wire thefts, they went back with rigid metal conduit to prevent them from doing it again. And to date, out of all the wire thefts, none of them happened where they had rigid metal conduit. It was only on PVC installations. Just to let you know, too, on the cost, we did think about that part because obviously any code change could potentially add an added cost. You're looking at a few $100 to maybe around $1,000 for a normal to switch from PVC. And if you're looking at the overall things from what it would take to install a new service, you're looking at $50,000 to $100,000. That's nothing, right, compared to what you could save in the long term. That is the only coded amendment we have this session. Again, remembering we're carrying over the existing. And that's all I have for you today. And then I will hand it over to Fire now. Thank you.
Good evening. A couple of little changes on the fire code. This part of the fire code is due to our educational facilities because of the active violence that's been occurring in multiple schools throughout the country. They are now asking us to put an alert system in place in the schools in case there is an active shooter that is a different type of tone and alert system that actually tells the students and the teachers what to do. It's way different than a fire alarm system. So you don't want those two things to sound the same, okay? Some of the things we look at is the sprinkler protection for Group M, which is we call mercantile. This actually came from the lithium batteries that have been widely used now. We're seeing a lot of fires in those type of businesses, so the sprinkler protection is now required in all these Group N mercantile facilities. In ours, they did some changes as far as like exit signs. A lot of it as far as, if generally we always tell people if there's a fire, you get down low. And so the requirement was to put the exit signs real low to the ground. So if you provide a sprinkler fire protection system, you don't have to put them on the ground. You can just keep them up above the top. This is one that they changed, which is it's actually a pretty good one. The fire protection systems we put for kitchen hoods. So we do have a lot of kitchen fires from time to time. This allows the occupant, they gave a parameter of 10 to 20 feet. Well, 10 to 20 feet is not always a good idea to have a pull station where you can activate the system because it's not in the path of them going out. And so we have now, it's up to our judgment where we can now set that pull station. It doesn't have to be in that parameter of 10 to 20 feet. This one's kind of what we're kind of looking at. So kitchen fires is kind of a big common thing here. And so we were looking at adding to our operational permits kitchen hoods and suppression systems so we can monitor every year. We're going to put them on our list of operational permits that we're going to go out and actually inspect these businesses because we have some parameters where the larger restaurants, we actually go visit every year, but the smaller ones, we don't because they don't fall in the category of an operational permit because they're smaller, but they still have the same type of fires. And so they either have the fires or they leave their equipment on and fill their business up with gas. We get that first thing in the morning call that, hey, it smells like gas in the business. And so this is going to kind of give us some parameters that say, hey, we're going to add you to our operational permit list. We're going to come see you every year. And property maintenance.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My changes are actually much more administrative in nature. So we are looking to provide some clarifications on what the notice of violation process looks like. Again, my codes are the International Property Maintenance Code. So, what's the content of that notice, time frame, that sort of thing. We're also looking at deleting the section regarding condemnation out of the IPMC because we have a Building Standards Commission. So that responsibility lies with our BSC. We're also looking at aligning regulations that already exist in our Code of Ordinances with the language that is within the IPMC. So that has to do with junk motor vehicles, landscaping requirements. So just ensuring that everything is aligned. And then we do have some requirements for temperature control of habitable spaces. So this affects really, rental properties or commercial properties in the case of heat supply. So just making sure that those spaces are being adequately maintained by the property owner. And then specifying our requirements for boarding. It's not enough here in Sugar Land to just slap a piece of plywood up on a vacant property or broken windows or something like that. We do have maintenance requirements, one of which is painting, the plywood to match the general facades, just so that it's not as visible. So some important points that we want to make, there will be no impact to ongoing projects. So if there are construction plans that were submitted prior to this second reading, the adoption, they will still be subject to the current regulations. So this will just impact future, not existing projects. So what we are recommending is approval of first reading of Ordinance 2395 with second reading to occur on January 6th. If this were to move forward, we would be conducting a lot of outreach, just like we did leading into this adoption, involving our social media platforms, those email automations, and having, a tour with our HOAs. And with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, the public hearing is now open. Would anyone from the public like to speak? Okay, don't see anyone. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Council members, do you have any questions or comments for staff?
Motion approved.
Okay, we've got a motion by Vonderhall, a second by Sanjay. Vote at this time.
Thank you very much.
And the motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next item, 8B, public hearing. Receive and hear all persons interested in the designation of reinvestment zone number 2025-01 for 33.4709 acre tract of land located in Sugar Land, Texas at 1111 Gillingham Lane, Sugar Land, Texas. First consideration of and action on City of Sugar Land Ordinance number 2394, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, creating reinvestment zone number 2025-01 for 34.4709 acre tract of land located in Sugar Land, Texas at 1111 Gillingham Lane, Sugar Land, Texas. And we have Jennifer Alexander, Business Development Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I will be talking about the reinvestment zone number 2025-01, supporting a county tax abatement for applied optoelectronics. Today I'm joined by Carlos Guzman, Director of Economic Opportunity with Fort Bend County, and Andrew Van Chow, Chief of Staff for Commissioner Andy Meyer's office, Precinct 3. So this item reflects coordination between the city and Fort Bend County to support a significant investment. Under state law, the city as a taxing entity needs to designate a reinvestment zone in order to support a tax abatement. This is just procedural and there is no fiscal impact to the city. A little bit about the reinvestment zone. Essentially, it's a defined geographic area designated by a governing body to be eligible for economic development incentives such as a tax abatement. This designation, again, is a prerequisite to negotiate the property tax abatement through the county. Again, the primary purpose is for the new investment here in the city, job creation and retention, and to promote underutilized areas and to diversify the tax base. A little on the business. Applied Optoelectronics, AOI, was formed in 1997 while operating out of the lab space at University of Houston. They established their headquarters in 2000 in Sugar Land and went through their first expansion in 2016. Most recently, they came to the city. They had an expansion that they wanted to create 500 new jobs with a capital investment of $77 million. They would be expanding into 1111 Gillingham, approximately 200,000 square feet. This project did go through the Sugar Land Development Corporation, and we did incentivize a direct incentive to the company. So our portion has already taken place. That incentive was $2 million over the next 10 years. And so now we are trying to support the county through a tax abatement by creating a zone. So as you can see here in the image, the zone is just over the 1111 Gillingham Lane building. It's 33 acres. It does not encompass any other buildings. So just over the building that they are moving into. Again, as the taxing jurisdiction, we must create the zone in order for the county to come in and provide this abatement. They have asked us to do so. The city, again, has already contributed $2 million through a direct incentive. There's no fiscal impact to the city, and this item was already reviewed by the Economic Development Committee. Next step would be to hold the public hearing for the zone and have the first reading of ordinance number 2394. The second reading would come forth at an upcoming city council meeting.
The public hearing is now open. Would anyone from the public like to comment? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Council members, do you have any questions or comments? Councilmember Single?
How much is the value of tax benefit per year by the county to the applied of this company?
At this time, that is still being negotiated. They have their own application process, and that would need to go through their office. So at first, we are creating the zone, and then they would analyze the application and understand what they're looking to put forth toward the project.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Watling?
Thank you, Mayor. Jennifer, thank you for bringing this to us, and I want to thank the county for their investment in our city. I appreciate what you're doing here, and that's meaningful. Anytime there's an investment in a tax investment, can you go over the terms of ours for our constituents to understand?
Sure. For tax abatements, these can extend up to 10 years. The reinvestment zone itself expires after 5. For a tax abatement to come forth through the city, they would have to apply to us. We would analyze that, and then we would take it through our Economic Development Committee for consideration, and then we would push that forward through the Sugarland Development Corporation, City Council for approval. Those can last again up to 10 years, anywhere from 5 to 10.
Okay, thank you. AOI's made a huge investment in our city, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you working with them. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Watley, second by Miller. Any further questions? Let's vote at this time. Item passes 7-0. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Next item is 9, contracts and agreements. 9A, assignment of Constellation Field lease to Diamond Baseball Holdings. Consideration of an action on the assignment of the October 5th, 2010 Constellation Field lease and amendments to Diamond Baseball Holdings, DBH, and the authorization of the city manager to execute the required documentation. And we have Jessica Hubble, Assistant Director of Redevelopment.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Mike. I want to acknowledge Henry Shepard, Chief Strategy Officer with Diamond Baseball Holdings, with us here this evening, and then Creighton, who you guys all know, with the Astros Senior VP, and they'll be available for questions at the end if you should have any. So just a little background of the history of this ownership of the stadium. So Opening Day Partners was the original ownership group from 2010 to 2014. That's when we had our inaugural season in 2012. After that, SL Baseball Holding, or SL Baseball LLC was the ownership group. That was Bob and Marcy Zlotnick. And then in 2021, the Houston Astros took ownership. That's when we became the AAA affiliate, as you know, in 2021. And then shortly thereafter, the name was changed to Skeeters, or from Sugarland Skeeters to Skip-Ace Cowboys, and then we had our new mascot, Orion. And then since opening the stadium, there's been over 5.1 million visitors to the stadium. This actually doesn't include the first few years of non-game day events. So if we look at the historical numbers, it should be closer to about 5.5 million. So amazing draw to our city in terms of tourism and people coming in. And so a little background on the Diamond Baseball Holdings. So as you saw, they acquired 3 minor league affiliates from the Houston Astros last week. So that covered the AAA Sugar Space Cowboys, as you know, the AA Corpus Christi Hooks, and then single A Fayetteville Woodpeckers. This increased their ownership to 48 teams in the minor league affiliation. So they had 45, then we added to make the 48. So included in that, just some examples, they have 14 AAA teams. Some are associated with Colorado Rockies, Chicago White Sox, Atlanta Braves, 14 AA teams with Pittsburgh Pirates, New York Mets, Boston Red Sox, 10 single A teams, Washington Nationals, Seattle Mariners, and then 10 high A teams with Cincinnati Reds, New York Yankees, Texas Rangers, just to name a few. So a lot of experience. They definitely know what they're doing. They've got a big pool to pull from. And so as you can see here, they're spread out all over the United States. And just to give you a little glimpse of where you can find them. And then, so what does this mean for us? So Sugar Land has done public-private partnerships for over 25 years now. And so ownership changes are not unusual. That's why assignment clauses are a standard practice within our agreements. So just for example, this will be the 4th ownership transition for baseball. We've had 3 different private partners for Sugar Land Town Square, and we've had 2 different private partners for Smart Financial Center. So again, this is not unusual. It's standard practice that you'll find in every agreement. And then, so what won't change? So the Space Cowboys will still remain the AAA affiliate to the Houston Astros. That's why we had Creighton come tonight to show they're still very much involved. None of that changes. And then, according to the original lease agreement, there are financial penalties if we do not remain a AAA team through 2031. And then there's tiered penalties if we don't remain AAA or AA through 2041. So again, that there's no risk or worry of that going away anytime soon. The stadium operations staff will not change, so same GM, same food and bev, and then the stadium name doesn't change at this time. So these transitions, again, are normal. We've never had a disruption in city commitments or operations, and so there's no concern for this one either. And then, so under the city's existing lease agreement for Constellation with the Astros, written approval is needed by the city. It's required for the change of control. Additionally, the approval may not be unreasonably withheld. And so with that, staff recommends the City Council assign the lease agreement dated October 5th, 2010, and all amendments to Diamond Baseball Holdings, and authorize the city manager to sign all required documents and letters to effectuate that assignment. Questions?
Anyone have any questions or comments? Councilmember Single?
Hi. You mentioned that we will remain AAA associate of Houston Astros, and if we are taken down, there will be some financial penalty.
Correct.
Who will hold that penalty, the new group or the Houston Astros?
I believe it would be the new group, because the assignment basically assigns all terms and conditions to this new group. So they're taking on the responsibility of that lease agreement as it stands today.
So DBH will take ownership of making sure that we remain the
Correct.
AAA partner?
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilmember Betcher?
Thank you, Mayor. So it sounds like the baseball operations should remain unchanged. Can you talk about the facility management and what this may mean for other events and everything else that may happen at the stadium?
I can. You're welcome to jump in if you'd like to, Henry. But it honestly kind of sets it up in a really good circumstance, because you have a group that has ownership of many teams, so they have their own special event, non-game day type sales teams out there, right? So when they're negotiating events to come to our city for non-game day, they can sell it more as, hey, we have 5 stadiums, we have 4 stadiums that you can come to. So the operations, it really tiers more to the revenue generation side. Major League Baseball, obviously their first goal is player development. Obviously, that's very important for Major League Baseball. But this will be very revenue generation, and they have a lot of different business models that they enact. Do you want to add anything?
I think that's perfectly said, and great to see you guys, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a Houston local and have been here my whole life, and an Astros fan forever, caught a ball in the 05 World Series, and have long admired your work in Sugar Land. So truly a privilege. To your question, sir, I think we believe the biggest growth area of our business and growth area for the Space Cowboys, which they already do quite well, is those events outside of the game. And so our commitment is to maintain an affordable, family-friendly game day environment for patrons of Sugar Land, but we have the ability to do routed events like Cosmic Baseball and Banana Ball and concerts and things like that by leveraging the scale of our footprint to bring folks here. And so what we're going to be very, very focused on alongside Tyler and his team, none of whom will be leaving or losing their jobs, is activating this ballpark 365 days a year and getting more people in there, full stop. So hope that helps address your question.
Mike?
Mayor, I just want to say Creighton and the Astros have been the most tremendous partners, and y'all have done such great things. We're excited to still have the Astros players playing in our city. And whenever there's something like this, the first thing is kind of a sigh of, but when we were able to look at Diamond Baseball Holdings, they're the best of the best. They're great at what they do. We're very excited to partner with them and for the future of the team.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion by Single and a second by Miller. Let's vote at this time. And motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, 9B, contract assignment from MUD number 269. consideration of and action on acceptance of the assignment of 3 construction contracts from MUD 269 for the Rye Hill Water Plant, $12,813,148. South the Brazos Wastewater Treatment Plant, $52,198,815, and Mass Grading and Detention Pond, $1.705322 million, in the total amount of $66,717,285, and authorization of budget amendments to reallocate funding from among CIP projects CWA 2506, CSW 2501, CWW 2503, and CWW CONT. And we have Robert Wilson, Assistant City Engineer.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Good evening. Some background on the project. The city entered a development agreement with the developer of Rye Hill in 2023, which created MUD 269. Parts of that agreement allowed MUD 269 to design and bid the water and wastewater plant facilities and award those contracts based on the city's contract process. Part of the agreement also stipulated that the city accepts the contracts from the MUD within 30 days of the contract award. The development agreement also allowed the city to offset the long-term cost of the regional facilities to serve Greatwood, Rye Hill, and future south of the Brazos developments. It allowed us to accelerate utility capacity for the area to serve that, where we've had a lot of requested utilities, and it allows the city to decommission the wastewater plant in Greatwood in the future. Project location, this project is off of 2759 in between Rabs Bayou and 2759 next to Greatwood Lakes, just south of Greatwood, just north of the new Rye Hill development. The project scope includes a 2 million gallon per day wastewater treatment plant, including effluent reuse, which allows future irrigation water supply in that part of town. It includes the construction of a water treatment plant with 2 500,000 gallon ground storage tanks and another project for detention and flood mitigation for those plant facilities. Through the bidding, the MUD advertised on CivCast and in the local paper in July of 2025 for the mass grading and wastewater treatment plant projects, and the water plant project was advertised on CivCast and the local paper in September of 25. The MUD, after receiving the bids, reviewed those bids with city staff prior to the award, and the contracts were awarded by the MUD on November 10th, 2025. Those contracts were awarded. The mass grading and detention facilities went to DC Contracting Services in the amount of $1.7 million. The Rye Hill Water Plant Phase 1A went to R&B Group for the amount of $12.8 million, and the South of the Brazos Wastewater Treatment Plant project went to Raytech in the amount of $52.2 million. MUD 269 did follow open bid procurement procedures for public bidding of these projects using the city's contract documents and specifications. And again, the DA requires the city to take over the contract and the construction management and future plant operations. For the project budget available for construction, we have in CWA 2506, roughly $14 million. In CWW 2503, roughly $49.7 million. In CSW 2501, roughly $2.8 million. And in CWW CONT, $575,000 for a total of $67,733,800. The needed funding for the water plant is roughly $12.8 million, and the wastewater treatment plant, including the mass detention contract, $52.2 million for a total of $717,285. The remaining money in that will be used for material testing and contingency on the projects. And with that, the developer in the DA pays approximately 28% of this total project cost through connection fees as they develop the development. Project timeline, the notice to proceed for these projects were issued in November of 2025, with the water plant taking approximately 14 months and the wastewater plant 24 months, with construction completion for the water plant February 2027 and the wastewater plant in November of 2027. Construction impacts, staff will follow policy CO 110 for notification of construction impacts. We don't anticipate service impacts to residents. However, we will use door hangers for those residents if we have those impacts. As we complete the project, we are making sure that truck parking and deliveries are not going through the adjacent neighborhoods, so we're making sure those come off at 2759. And then we're also posting project updates to a website that we have, project webpage that we have on the city's website, and providing those updates to Greatwood Lake and Greatwood HOA as the project progresses. Some public engagement for the project. We have hosted Greatwood Lake and went to Greatwood HOA to present the plan for the plant facilities. We did receive concerns from those meetings around odor, noise, plant traffic, and appearance of the plant facilities, and design incorporated mitigation for that received feedback. Some of the mitigation measures that we incorporated in these designs was the wastewater plant facility was located approximately 240 feet away from the existing fence from Greatwood. Instead of the existing minimum of 100 feet from the TCEQ. We have a 8-foot simulated stone fence along that right of way, or the new plant road, which screens better than our typical plant fences. We have left the existing landscape buffer along that property line between the homeowners in Greatwood Lake and the new plant facility. And design incorporated keeping some of the larger oak trees on the property and new trees along the property lines. There's a 20-foot access road off of 2759 to keep all the plant traffic coming from 2759 rather than through the neighborhood, with drainage along those sides of the road to direct any drainage down to the new ponds. We proposed a lock gate at the end of Magnolia Trail to limit the traffic that comes in there, and state-of-the-art odor equipment at the new plant to control odors at the plant. With that, the engineering department recommends the city council accept the contracts and execute the budget amendments. Thank you. And staff is available for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions for Robert? Okay, Councilmember Single.
Thank you for the presentation. One question on the financial side, the 66 million, is it part of the GEO bond, or is it something which MUD will pay as part of the future MUD tax?
So this project is paid for out of the utility fund, so no GEO bonds are used for it. This project is funded by connection fees and existing utility rates. So through the project, as they plat the new Rye Hill development, they'll be paying connection fees. That will go back to pay for part of the project. It's approximately 28% that they pay out of the total plant project.
And remaining 72% will be part of the ongoing fee, the utility fee.
So that comes out of various, it comes out of the water bill, and then ultimately future connection fees on the south side of the Brazos as there's more development.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Jacobson?
Thank you, Mayor. Robert, please remind me, doesn't the MUD usually carry the debt on a project like this for new development, or are we carrying the debt because it's a multi-use facility?
So we're carrying the debt because it's a regional plant. So there's a benefit to the city to consolidate the Rye Hill plant into a larger facility. So that's why we're carrying the debt and collecting connection fees for it.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Robert, have the mitigation initiatives been provided back to the Greatwood people?
Yes, sir. So we have proposed that. We have additional meetings scheduled with Greatwood, especially the residents along the bayou, to continue that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Vonderhaar, second by Single. Let's vote at this time. And the motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Robert. Next item, 10A, first consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land Ordinance Number 2379, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, amending Chapter 5, Article 13, Special Events Ordinance. And we have Brianna Williams, Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The purpose of this presentation is to seek approval on the special events ordinance revisions. The purpose of the ordinance is to protect, preserve, and promote public safety and welfare of the city and its residents by enforcing physical safety, emergency response, medical services, fire protection, traffic management, and other operational elements associated with the special events. Key components of the ordinance include permit revisions, event regulations, city services and cost recovery fees, and provisions governing the permit issuance and the terminations. The ordinance informs our city policies, which in turn will guide our event review committee. The event review committee meets regularly, and they serve as the boots on the grounds that will enforce the terms. So we are just wanting to streamline some of those things. The special events permitting oversees third-party events at all general locations. They include Constellation Fields, Sugarland Town Square, and also some of our park facilities. The data from recent years indicate that the number of our events hosted is steadily increasing over time. So since assuming responsibilities in the late 2024, we have pretty much implemented all of the things in 2025 that you see here on the slide. Our staff serves as the administrators of the permitting process, and right now we are steadily seeing where we are attracting event producers. So what we want to do is just streamline some of those processes and procedures for them. With the World Cup well underway, these updates will also clarify expectations for some of those things as well. This slide right here outlines most of the proposed revisions, but I will walk you through each one so that you guys have a clear understanding of what we are actually wanting to do here. For the definition revisions, what we're doing is removing the street festival definition entirely, and we're amending the street event definition that will now incorporate some of the former language from the other definition. We have also added the event review committee to the definitions because it wasn't listed there. While the ERC has been operating for several years, it just wasn't listed on the ordinance. It was listed in the policies. Within the exceptions and process amendments, we are clarifying the language related to events held on school properties. Now it will include designated for their intended use because it wasn't in that language as well. The application deadline is being extended from a 45-day window to a 60-day window, which will provide our staff with additional time to review the applications. For the payment and fee revisions, we are now introducing a new expedited permitting processing fee of $200, which will allow staff to review applications submitted after the 60-day window that we are proposing. The ordinance currently requires our city services to be paid 10 days in advance. There is a revision now that will allow us to post bill for some of these events, which will allow the producers to now pay after the event when they receive the invoices. A deposit requirement has been added for all locations eligible to host special events. What it said previously in the ordinance was that it was only limited to the Crown Festival Park, City Parks, and Smart Financial Center. We have also clarified that our refund process, which will allow staff to process things, the refunds 30 days after an event. And lastly, I want to go over some of the denial and termination provisions. The language has been added to reflect the new 60-day application requirement. The ordinance now allows for background checks as part of the application process. The appeals of a permit will now be first reviewed by the ERC before directly going to our city manager. And finally, we clarified that the on-site authority to shut down an event is not just given to the administrator. It now lists out that our fire department can shut it down, police department, or our Office of Emergency Management can. The next step is us seeking approval of the first reading of the ordinance today, and a second reading will occur at a meeting in January. And with that, the Parks and Recreation Department would recommend approval of the ordinance number 2379 regarding proposed changes to the special events ordinance. And with that, I'll open the floor for any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Brianna? Councilmember Watley?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I was reading through some of these amendments. The ones that's highlighted in Section 5, Chapter 5, it states a street event will have less than 100 participants, and it talks about the street being open. Can you kind of talk about how do you know it's less than 100 people? Who's going to verify that? And a lot of these things, do they adhere to residents having a street party on a cul-de-sac and how does that happen?
Yes, so right now, a lot of the street events that we're talking about that have less than 100 people at them would be ones that usually go through our process for the Sugar Cube or the Block Party Trailer. With those, they do have an application process. We review with the neighborhood HOAs. We also know exactly what they're going to shut down, and we show it in diagrams and graphics as far as for what that looks like and requires in the permit process. So it's still reviewed by the same, some of the same people that are part of our ERC, but those events usually don't have to do all of the things that are required for a special event permit process.
Follow up? Thank you. So I think it's important that our residents know this is not just for like commercial uses, but when they apply for a permit, that they need to look at these and get get answers from you on simple things like this that kind of streamline the process. I mean, that says it here, but I don't know, are we telling our residents this when they apply?
Yeah, it's listed on the website, especially if they want to reserve things like that. We have a website specifically for all of our special event permitting applications, so they see that there. If they're reserving the Sugar Cube, they can see it there. We have it listed in a couple of different places online.
Thank you for pushing the Sugar Cube. Sure. Motion to approve.
Okay. Okay, Councilmember Single?
Actually, the previous question got me thinking. So would this also apply to the HOA events, which we do within the HOA property? For example, the annual party of a given HOA, where 300 to 400 people participate.
If it's a smaller event, it just depends on the parameters of the event. If it's a smaller event and it's not impacting the street facilities or anything, or not requiring emergency operations or things like that, then it doesn't have to go through this process at all. It's when it touches something that is outside of the normal scope of the operations of the park or facility that they're trying to host it at. So that's when we would activate a special event permit.
So the umbrella of that special occasion remains the same, or you are defining new? Whatever it was before this changes.
No, that doesn't. We're not changing any of the requirements of what that looks like now. The only amendments are to the special event side of things.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we've got a motion by Watley. Are there any other questions? Second by Vandahar. Let's vote at this time. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Brianna. Next item, 11, City Council and City Manager reports. We'll start with you, Councilmember Watley.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll mix it up each time. You got to keep on your toes.
I never know. Okay, so there's a lot of things on our plate because we haven't seen each other for a while, but we've done a lot of stuff together, you guys. But I'm going to talk about Covington West and Imperial Woods, the drainage project. Where's Jesse? We got it done, Jesse. I want to thank staff for getting that done probably a little bit ahead of time and definitely saving us $4 million getting Covington West and Imperial Woods done. We cut that ribbon on 12/10. Our mayor had the honor. And Jim and I, was anybody else there? That was us. So thank you guys for that. And then we had the pleasure of cutting the ribbon on the first multifamily we've had here in, I guess, about 15 years, the Pearl Lake Point groundbreaking. I think Stuart, Jim, Sanjay, and I were there. And we welcomed Morgan Group in, cutting that ribbon. I want to thank them for thoughtful development in an effort to, I think, activate Lake Point. We look forward to them coming here, and I really appreciate all the thought that went into doing this the right way. That's my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Single.
Thank you, Mayor. So yeah, as Suzanne said, it was a busy work period. I attended the Pearl Lake Point groundbreaking along with the other councilmen. Also attended the airport EV charging facility inauguration, which was a good addition to the airport. Also attended the T. Herman Center holiday party, which was a good event, and to meet all the senior citizens who live in the vicinity. And finally, also attended the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce evening gala along with other council members. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Midler?
Thank you, Mayor. You and I attended the Commonwealth HOA. I thought that was a great event. Home for the Holidays with the seniors. Thank you, Stuart, for sponsoring that. That was a great event. Had a tour of Imperial by the staff. That was very good to see what we're working with there. Sorry I missed the menorah lighting, but I had dinner with my grandson who's off to Italy tomorrow. And then I had a meeting with Commissioner Myers yesterday, very productive.
Thank you. Councilmember Vonderhaar?
Thank you, Mayor. As everybody else has already said, it's been a very busy couple of weeks. I'll try not to duplicate anything. A couple of highlights for me. Attended the, I think, first official event associated with our World Cup relationship with the host city, the watch party at Little Woodrow's. Excellent event, a lot of good press about that. So super excited about being out there. I also, among, I think, everybody here, attended the tree lighting, which was a huge success as well. And I attended the staff Christmas party. What is it? Is it Christmas party? Employee banquet. Employee banquet, sorry. Another great event, but just a great opportunity to highlight all of the wonderful things that our staff does. So a huge thank you to all of our staff for everything that you guys do. And then finally, I have to say thank you, Suzanne. There were other things that I was going to be doing this past weekend, but I had more important things. I got to go see my 4-year-old granddaughter's first dance recital and her 4th birthday party. So thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Jacobson?
Thank you, Mayor. As everything's already been covered, I would like to highlight, as it's universally accepted and acknowledged that District 3 is the home to all that is good, pure, and beautiful in the city of Sugar Land, I would like to highlight once again that when you leave, you might want to look at my Christmas tree out in the court there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Batcher?
No, until Jim went, I had a lot of open ones, but I started them all off after he went. No, the Christmas tree lighting was great. Thanks for the city staff for everything they do. It was great to celebrate with them for the whole year. 2 things I have that weren't covered yet. Holiday Lights at Constellation Field. I went. It's great. If you haven't done it, go take the family. And then last, Greater Houston Builders Association had a reception down in Houston, so I went down to that. And that covers it for the year.
Okay, well, I attended the ribbon cutting of the Origins Bank here in Town Square, along with a couple dozen, at least, other activities. I'd like to thank staff for the great job you did on the Christmas tree lighting. That's always such a fun event that's really well attended. And I'd just like to thank staff for all of your hard work this year. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues on council for all of your very, very, very hard work that you've done the past 6 months. We've been, as of tomorrow, 6 months we've been a new council. And I know and so the 4 of you new ones, I know you felt you've been drinking from a fire hydrant, but anyway, I said, thank you again. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. This is our last meeting of the year, so definitely excited for that. City offices will be closed December 25th, 26th, and January 1st. And I want to thank we have a lot of staff that works those days so that we can enjoy those with our families and friends. And just want to say it's been a great 2025. I appreciate the council, appreciate staff, and I look forward to 2026.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and we're getting ready to go into closed executive session. So before we do so, since most of you will be gone when we come out, I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Item 12A, closed executive session as authorized by Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, in accordance with Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, for the purpose of discussion with respect to the city manager annual performance evaluation. So now we'll convene into closed executive session. here. Okay, I would like to reconvene the council meeting. Boys, item number 13, City Manager's FY26 compensation package. Item 13A, consideration of and action on the city manager's compensation fiscal year 2026. So the city manager's annual performance evaluation process began in October, and feedback from all council members was gathered and compiled, as well as total compensation data from survey cities. And city manager, I'd like to say just thank you on behalf of the entire council for the tremendous job that you've done. We really appreciate you. So based on the city manager's FY25 performance, I make a motion to approve a one-time lump sum performance incentive of $17,000.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by me, a second by Council Member Single. Let's vote at this time. And the motion passes 7-0. City Manager?
Yeah, Mayor, thank you very much. And first off, I'd like to thank our staff, because I think we have the most tremendous staff anywhere in this country, and y'all's confidence in me is because of the work that they do. Also want to thank this council. It's been an honor, and it's been a lot of fun and a privilege to work alongside of you, and I'm very excited for the future, and I appreciate the confidence y'all have in me, and I assure you I'm fully committed to being the best city manager I can be for this city, and I'm excited for 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. You've got great things in store next year.
Thank you. And I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We're adjourned. Happy holidays.